I've never really set one of my goals to be the Olympic coach. My goals have been more set as far as helping the athletes to do well, helping the athletes to make the Olympic team. And I think, if you set a goal to help your athletes to make the Olympic team and succeed at the Olympic Games, and you have the ability to coach other people's swimmers, because an Olympic coach, one of the important aspects is the ability not just to coach your own swimmers, but to coach other people's swimmers, then I think that's an honor that will follow. When you're named the head Olympic coach, it is a great honor, but it is a lot of responsibility. I think, one of the things that we have going for us in the United States is kind of a national team culture, team spirit, camaraderie, togetherness, caring about each other. And I think the head coach, it starts with the head coach, and the head coach selects a staff that has that kind of camaraderie, and that filters down to the team, and then the team carries it. Well, I do think one way to help the team to bond is to have those fun events that go on during the training camp, personal events and team events. I think the team skits always help, but you get to know each other during the training camp, and even though the athletes and the coaches all look at training camp as kind of long, and we can't wait to get to the event itself, I think we fondly look back at the training camp as that opportunity to bond. Well, American swimming really is a team sport. From the summer leagues to the YMCAs to the high schools to the colleges, and I think American swimmers get the fact that the reason that we're successful is because we care about each other. And I don't think that there's a greater honor than the honor of representing the United States of America in international competition. So the swimmers understand that it's more than just about them, but it's about the team. Well, I think some of the differences now is, the athletes do go and ask what's best for the team. I mean, they're focused on their individual performances, but whether it be on relays. I think a good example was, Michael Phelps in 2000 giving his relay spot up to Ian Crocker. I think the team is important to everybody, and it's just important that you're thinking about the success of your teammate and giving them credit and focusing on each other, not just on yourself. Well, I think as an Olympic coach, it's important that if you have an athlete not accomplish their goal, that you fast forward quickly towards what you want them to do in the next swim. If that's their only swim, then you kind of get them focused on the team aspect and supporting the team, and talk to them a little bit about their future and where they're going to go in the sport, because it is all a process, and whether it's a World Championships or a Pan Pacs or an Olympics, you have to have sometimes some non-successes to get the successes, because you have to have been through that experience. The coaches do provide a lot of leadership, but wise coaches foster the leadership from within the team, because there's no stronger leadership than leadership that comes from the athletes. We can take it so far, but the athletes are the ones that really hit it out of the park. I think the one thing that I take away from the Olympic Games is the experience itself, and being there with all the different countries and being a part of history. And I think each athlete should take great pride in the fact that they were part of history and they represented the United States well and with pride. I think if you choose a profession as a swim coach, you're choosing a profession to help others reach goals, to help others strive for perfection, but realize that even though you strive high, doing their best is the most important thing, and being a part of a great team is one of the most important things that you can give them.
In 1992, Presidents Bush and Yeltsin declare an official end to the Cold War. Violence erupts in Los Angeles as 4 police officers are accused of beating a Mr. Rodney King. The Democratic Convention nominates Bill Clinton and Al Gore. Clinton is elected president over incumbent George Bush. CDs surpass cassette tapes as the preferred music medium for the first time. Johnny Carson hosts The Tonight Show for the last time. U.S. Armed Forces are asked by the UN to safeguard relief food supplies in Somalia. And in our beloved sport of swimming, one of our most experienced Olympic coaches becomes head coach in the person of Mark Schubert. We don't have enough time tonight to summarize Coach Schubert's career with the amazing compilation of statistics that would lead me to call him the most successful swimming coach in history. But I believe a large number of the historical figures in our sport, many in this room and at this table, would support that notion. Mark is a 5-time ASCA Coach of the Year and has had remarkable achievements in both club and collegiate swimming, and has been our most prominent international coach in the past 3 decades. At his first World Championships and first Olympic appearance as USA National Team Director and Head Coach, he's led the Team USA to its most dominant performance in the history of our sport. Selected to the International Swimming Hall of Fame in 1997, the 4th member of the Olympic head coaches present to win the USA Swimming Award in 2005. Please welcome our national team head coach and general manager, Olympic head coach Mark Schubert.
Well, first of all, it's a great honor to be here tonight and a great honor to be sitting up here with people that are my heroes. I want to thank some people because I wouldn't be here without them. One of them is Eddie Reese, who I learned so much from in the 4 years that I coached at the University of Texas. And I was privileged to be his roommate at 2 Olympic Games. And we've been through a lot at Olympic Games together, both good and challenging, but that's what coaching is all about. Second is Coach Peter Dalen, who's been my idol for a long time and was always kind enough when I was a young coach to allow me to come up and watch his practices. And I've learned a lot from him, and he continued to be my mentor when I coached at USC, and I always appreciated that very much. And third is Don Gambrell. Don was the head coach, as you know, of the '84 Olympic team, and that was my first Olympic Games on deck. And just being able to watch Don, watch how he handled people, watch how he handled coaches, and I think he referred a little bit to it's not just the challenge of handling the personalities of the different swimmers, which is a challenge, but it's also a challenge of handling the personalities of the different coaches. And if you think swimmers have egos, believe me, all of those great coaches have some pretty great egos as well, and Don was just a master at that. Thinking about highlights of my first Olympic Games as head coach, we had a great challenge from Germany and a great challenge from China at that meet. I think one of my favorite races was watching Nicole Hazlett, who was a veteran, swim against Franziska van Almsnick, who later became a world record holder